You know that feeling, right? When you're following politics and you just get this mix of frustration and, honestly, exhaustion. It's that sense that the real decisions are being made somewhere you can't see, in a room you're not invited to. But what if we could do more than just get into that room? What if we could redesign it completely?
I mean, we all know this line from Hamilton. It just perfectly captures that feeling, that deep desire to have a seat at the table where the decisions that shape our world are made. It's all about that frustration with backroom deals and feeling left out of the conversation.
But here's the big question we're digging into. What if getting a seat at the table isn't actually the answer? What if the problem isn't who gets into the room, but the design of the room itself?
Okay, let's get into it. For so many of us, politics has just become completely draining. We feel like Aaron Burr in the musical, stuck on the outside, totally convinced the whole game is rigged. We keep hearing that's just how the sausage gets made, that it's supposed to be messy and secretive. But that's the very idea we need to challenge.
So if the room is the problem, what do we do? We're going to look at the fundamental issue with our current political playbook, explore a Nobel-winning blueprint for a new one, and then see where these better rules are already starting to change the game.
So how do we do that? Well, it takes what you'd call a paradigm shift, a deep, fundamental change in how we think about things. It's about moving from a politics that's all about conflict to one that's built on collaboration. Let's see what that actually looks like.
So on the left, you've got our current political world. It's based on the zero-sum idea. For my side to win, your side has to lose. It's all about short-term fights. The big shift over on the right is about changing the entire goal. Instead of just fighting for a bigger piece of the pie, it's about working together to bake a much bigger pie for everybody by focusing on what we can all gain in the long run.
And this shift, it goes right to the very heart of how we think about power. Is it power over someone, using force and control? Or is it power with people, empowering everyone to get something done together? It's really the difference between a boss who just gives orders and a leader who actually inspires teamwork.
Now, I know this might all sound a bit idealistic, but it's actually grounded in some serious, real-world research. In fact, the blueprint for this new way of thinking comes from a Nobel Prize-winning political scientist. This is Elinor Ostrom, and she spent her entire career studying something that a lot of experts said was impossible: real-life communities that successfully managed shared resources, things like fisheries or forests, without a heavy-handed government or a total free-for-all that led to ruin. She basically proved the cynics wrong.
And she took everything she learned and distilled it into what she called her core design principles. Now, you can think of these like the essential ingredients that let a group succeed, whether it's a tiny fishing village or a whole country. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're a practical recipe for success.
So what's in this recipe? Let's break down 4 of the key ingredients. First, you need a shared purpose. Everyone in the room has to have a clear idea of who we are and what we're trying to do together. Without that, it's just chaos. Second, fair rules. The way you make decisions has to feel legit and inclusive to everybody. If people think the game is rigged, they're just not going to play. Third, accountability. There have to be clear, agreed-upon consequences when rules get broken. This isn't about punishment, it's about trust. And finally, collaboration. A healthy group has to be able to work with other groups. No successful community is an island.
And you know what the best part is? This is not just a theory. People are already using these principles to build a better kind of politics, right now, from the ground up. These are the building blocks of that brand new room.
Take an organization called Convergence. They bring fierce political opponents into a room, but their goal isn't just to find some watered-down compromise. It's to build trust. By focusing on people first, they help find real common ground on some of our absolute toughest issues.
Or check out the rise of citizens' assemblies. All across the country, towns are bringing together randomly selected residents, kind of like a jury, to learn about and deliberate on really complex local issues. It's a way to tap into the wisdom of the whole community, not just the loudest people.
This shift is even happening in policing. Police to Peace is an initiative that works with departments to really lean into the idea of being a peace officer. The whole goal is to shift the culture away from just enforcement and toward preventing conflict, rebuilding that crucial trust from the ground up.
So if you're still a little skeptical, let me leave you with one final story. It's an incredible lesson that comes not from political scientists or experts, but from a classroom of 4th graders. For decades, a teacher named John Hunter has been running something called the World Peace Game. He gives the students a board that represents the entire world and a list of 50 of our most complicated, tangled-up problems. And the only way to win is to solve all 50 crises and make every single country better off. No one gets left behind.
At first, the kids are overwhelmed. Their attempts often make things even worse, pretty much mirroring the real world. But then, something amazing happens. They tap into this incredible collaborative creativity. As their teacher John Hunter says, they make a conscious choice that a win for one has to be a win for all. And every single time, without fail, they do it. They win the game.
And that leaves us with one last, really crucial question. The World Peace Game proves our default setting doesn't have to be us versus them. Collaboration and win-win outcomes are totally possible. It just takes a choice, a conscious choice to redesign the room and change the rules of the game. If they can figure it out, what's stopping the rest of us?